Hi, I'm Gary from Hydroponics in York Springs, PA, and we also have a store in Finksburg, Maryland called All Good Garden Supply. You should check us out. We are fully stocked, and don't forget to hit that little button down there if you want to follow us. Today we're going to be talking about CO2 in your gardens. Get a lot of people coming in asking about that. One of the first things I usually ask them is, what you got going on? Like, are you in an attic? Are you in a basement, garage? This definitely has something to be said about it. In our store right now, we're at a little bit over 1,000 parts per million. I am sitting right next to this, so it'll really bump up probably even farther if I blow on it. But basements, we've had readings. We've run this meter out before. I've had readings of basements of 1,000 parts per million without any CO2 added. CO2 falls towards the ground, and that's important to know in your garden. So if you're in an indoor grow tent, you want to always exhaust from the top and have your vents coming in at the bottom, so you have more CO2 coming out. If you're in an attic, there's not going to be much CO2. So attics can also run hot, especially here in Pennsylvania in the summertime. So CO2 helps your plants deal with heat better too. So if it's your room's 85 or plus, you want to definitely add some extra CO2 to it. The amounts of CO2, plants generally 1,500 parts per million, they're happy as can be. Outside, they're only getting about 410 parts per million, but they're getting a fresh breeze all day long. So that 410 parts per million never runs out. They're just constantly got that new breeze coming through. In an indoor garden, if it's sealed, a sealed room, and there's no air coming in or going out, your plants can actually suck the room clean. There'll be none left and they'll turn yellow and be sick. So adding CO2 is necessary for some people, not necessary for others. We always have the question of, like, if you're exhausting your grow room and you're adding CO2 out of a tank, is it just sucking it out? Yes, it is. It's sucking it right out. So all things to consider when thinking about CO2. Fruiting and flowering plants the last month, I mean, if you're going to use CO2, that's when you want to use it for sure. And what we got sitting here is just some different ways to give your room CO2. The green pads, these are very simple to use. In Pennsylvania, they work great. They're activated by your humidity. If you're at 40% or above, they will be kicking out CO2. It's about a 1 month supply. The green pad juniors are awesome. These fit inside humidity domes, which is just, it helps you get faster rooting. I recommend these a lot. People having cloning issues with the humidity domes, and they've tried everything, and I'm like, put one of these in there, and they come back and are like, they buy them every time after that. CO2 mushroom bags. This is Exhale. These, I'm sure you've probably seen them around. Pretty much it's a mushroom fungus living on a block of food. And as it grows, it eats the block and gives off CO2 out of a little breather patch here. This one is the extra large Exhale. This one's already activated. You can kind of see the white stuff growing on it. And in a couple months, once this is opened up, this will be totally white, and it gets kind of nasty looking, but they do help. They definitely help maintain your CO2. I haven't gotten a room up to 1,500 with these before, but I haven't put like a zillion of them in there either. This is my favorite one of these. This is a self-activated one. It's got the colony up here. You pretty much, this thing, in case you ever buy these, this slides off the end, and then you can put it above. You can get this down, and then you put this above your breather patch, and then you can use this as a hanger for your tent. You want to hang these things up high, and because CO2 falls. So if you have a little circulation fan in your tent, like blowing, you would put this above it, and the CO2 will drop down and just blow onto the plants. These work great. I mean, I like them. You don't have to worry about nothing. This one lasts almost 9 months. This one lasts a half a year, and you just put it in there and forget about it. And they work good. This is the enhancer. Probably seen this around. This is based on the yeast sugar thing, but this is a very specific form of yeast that they won't tell you what it is. These kick out some serious CO2, but you do have to go in there every couple days and shake it up and to keep it going. So that's another way to do it. CO₂ tanks. The tanks are, you know, if you need a tank, you're not in a little 3x3 grow tent, you're not in a 5x5 grow tent. I generally in the store recommend, if you're below an 8 foot by 8 foot room, don't even worry about it. It's a lot to deal with. Now, if you are in an 8 by 8 room and sealed, and you add that, it can be awesome. You can totally, you know, get them right where you want them. Generally, 1,500 parts per million's like optimum for plants. From what I've read over the years, if you get over 2,500 parts per million, the stomatoes on the plants get stuck open, and then when the plant's trying to deal with heat and is trying to release moisture through its stomatoes, they won't function properly with levels up over 2,500. So there is a maximum for your CO₂. With the tank, you're going to need a regulator. If I just turn this tank on right now, it would shoot out. When you use the regulator and the tank turns on, you barely even hear it. It slows it down to the point where it just, you know, falls down over the plants. The regulator itself screws on a tank. It's got the hose, which is kind of like a lasso hose. It's a special kind of plastic, actually. It's got tiny micro holes in it. This can handle the coldness of the CO₂. So if you get like regular hose, from what I've read, that can actually crack apart. This also has a plug on it. So the plug, when you pull the plug out of the wall and it's hooked up to your tank and the tank's on, you pull the plug out of the wall, it'll turn it off immediately. It's a solenoid valve. That can be plugged into one of these handy dandy guys here. And these are what I call the sniffers. These will actually sniff the air, and you can set your ppm level. This one's kind of the easiest one to use. It's 1,000 parts per million, 1,250, or 1,500 parts per million. It's only got 3 settings, and you pretty much plug your tank in here, your regulator, and then this will smell the air. It also has a photocell. At nighttime, the plants don't need extra CO₂. They do need some fresh air here and there, but they don't need to be blasted with CO₂ at night. They do other things at night. But these will help you save gas, and it'll help keep your room exactly where it should be. Another thing about CO₂ is a little program called Fuzzy Logic. Some customers come in asking about that, and I know this has Fuzzy Logic built into it. This is the Atlas 9 by Titan Controls. Fuzzy Logic is a computer program that learns your room. How can I say that? It anticipates what's going to happen. So you get your tank going with this, set your ppms. This will start to learn how your room goes up and down, and it will actually turn CO₂ ahead of time to keep you more level. So Fuzzy Logic, the program that's built into this, is really good to have for your room. It keeps your plants all leveled out. These can actually save you a lot of gas, especially in a sealed room. If you have a sealed room, you might as well gas it and use one of these. And when I say sealed room, I mean fully air conditioned and environmentally controlled. This also has photocells for nighttime. Some people I've heard like to gas their plants a little bit before the sun comes up. The regulator itself, this one is Hydrofarm's. This is for small rooms under 10 by 10. This right here has a little ball that floats in it. This is your flow rate, cubic feet per hour, I believe. Yeah, cubic feet per hour. So it also comes with a timer. So if you push down the pins on the timer, every other pin, it'll be 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. There's a program that they use at the store that'll calculate your room. That'll give you a ballpark of where to set this, so that you don't have to have all this stuff, because it can get expensive when you're using tanks. Doing the 15 minute on, 15 minute off thing, it's really not going to get you that accurate, but the program I have here, I can at least calculate your room and get you close to your cubic feet per minute that you need to set this at. The monitoring meters are awesome to have. Like, even if you're just using bags or the green pads, these things, this one here, we're at 922 parts per million right now. These are made by Hydrofarm, by the way, autopilot. 922 parts per million in here. This also covers your humidity and your temperature. This also has a 48-hour memory on it, and you can scroll through and see how your levels change of everything through that time. this is the new big brother of that just came out. This one uses an SD memory card, and it will record an entire year. And you can also put the SD memory card on the computer and use Excel, I believe, and go look at charts and everything. So that's just fun to know. You know, the CO₂ is really cool to just, it's nice to know when you walk in and see what's going on. And these guys right here, they're pretty affordable, and they'll take care of your temperature, humidity, everything. These are available on our website. You can actually order them right through here if you want. Other than that, I think I covered pretty much everything I want to cover about CO₂. You know, if you're in a basement, like I said, and you might get away without using it at all and be fine. If you have plenty of fresh air coming in and out of your room, like outside, you'll be fine. So if you really want to get things big and you have a pretty tight area, then adding CO₂ is going to make things bigger and better. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and thanks for watching. I'm Gary from Hydroponics, and you have a good day.